Hello, my name is Andrea Martin. I'm 27 years old and just started cooking last year when my boyfriend and I started dating. He would invite me over to his house for dinner and whip up a gourmet meal with ease. I was impressed. The only thing I could do at that point was heat up SpaghettiOs in the microwave. I wanted to learn, but I felt like a fish out of water. I went through some trials and errors in the beginning, but now I feel more confident as I learn the ropes. I realized that I didn't have the proper equipment and tools, and I was terribly unorganized. I started with complicated recipes and constantly second-guessed the directions. I didn't quite get the feel of it until I started simple. Here are my top tips for beginner chefs. Equip your kitchen. Having the proper equipment in your kitchen will save you failures, disappointment, and frustration. Think of the items you purchase as an investment. If you purchase quality tools now, your cooking experience will be positive and you won't have to repurchase the same equipment anytime soon. Some must-haves include heavy stainless steel cookware, including saucepans, sauté pans, and a deep-sided skillet. You'll also want to have aluminum sheet pans, various sized glass casserole and baking dishes, and quality knives. I like fillet knives, chef's knives, a boning knife, and a serrated knife. You also want some other various utensils. You want some mixing spoons, spatulas, hand grater, a colander, mixing bowls, a cutting board, dry and liquid measuring cups, and a meat thermometer. My second tip is to get organized. One of the worst ways to start learning to cook is to dive in head first without some sort of plan. Set your kitchen up so that you know exactly where things are and you can access them quickly. Hopefully your kitchen is easy to move around in. Keep your utensils together and have a hook for your apron. The second part of getting organized is to take inventory and be sure you have everything that you need. If you're following a recipe, take 5 minutes to be sure you have all the ingredients you need. And while you're at it, get them out and prepared. Make sure you have the right equipment. For example, if you don't have a mixer or a whisk, you're going to have a hard time making a meringue. At the same time, if you don't have egg whites, you're definitely not making a meringue. Just imagine how irritated you would be to get the pie shell and lemon filling ready and realize that you ran out of eggs. My third tip is to read the directions. You learned this task in kindergarten, and it's still important today. Cooking isn't scary or hard. All you have to do is read and follow the directions. If a recipe says to preheat the oven, then preheat the oven. The chefs who developed that recipe added the step for a reason. It's important. Now, this isn't to say that you need to hang on to every word as gospel. Cooking is also a lot of common sense. If a recipe says to bake your chicken for 45 minutes, but you take it out and it's still clucking, put it back in and keep an eye on it. The best way to know when your meat is done when you're learning to cook is to take its temperature. Also, keep in mind that because your chicken wasn't done in 45 minutes, it's not your fault, unless you forgot to turn the oven on, and it's not the recipe's fault. Your cut of meat might be bigger and thicker than the one used in the test kitchen. Just read, follow the directions, be safe, and use common sense. You'll also want to get the feel of it. Take some chances. Recipes can be tweaked. For instance, if you're making salsa, but the recipe calls for 1 jalapeno pepper, but you love spicy food, add another pepper. Adding and subtracting ingredients to suit your taste is a must. What's the point of cooking when you don't even like it? This rule applies to cooking recipes, but you have to be careful when doing this with baking recipes. And yes, there is a difference. Same idea applies to achieving the desired texture of foods. Everyone likes their mashed potatoes differently. Some like chunky, some like smooth, and some like the skins in. If you don't like skins, peel those taters before tossing them in the pot. While you're whipping them, keep an eye on the texture. If you like chunky, stop when it's chunky. If you like smooth, keep on whipping. Cook to your preference, and always remember to season and taste as you go. Don't hold off till the end. Tasting as you go lets you know that you're on the right track. My fourth tip is to start simple. If you're petrified of failure, start with easy recipes. The best way to build confidence is to have success. So what if you're not cooking circles around Emerald in the kitchen? Something as simple as a tasty meatloaf and good mashed potatoes will make you feel more confident in your abilities than a collapsed souffle. Also, don't make your first meal to entertain. Cook for yourself and a few close family members before throwing a dinner party. Give the whole meal a trial run for you and your significant other before you dive in head first. So that's basically my tips for learning to cook. If you stock your kitchen, get organized, read the directions, get the feel of it, and start simple, you're well on your way.